Hello everyone and welcome back to another weekly video. This week we're going to be talking about the order of operations and exponents. Both of these are new, so I hope this kind of helps us with the work we've got going on this week in our math class. But this is just to get some practice on what exponents are and how to really use the order of operations. So let's go ahead and get started. So order of operations, what is it? The order of operations is the order we solve math problems due to different properties of numbers. Yes, numbers have different properties, but the order of operations kind of helps us keep everything in line and allows us to solve it in a proper order, just like it sounds. So, with that being said, this is how we remember it in the actual order of operations. So, we remember it by using the mnemonic device PEMDAS, or you might hear me call it PEMDAS. And this stands for parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. And what I want you to make sure you know is addition and subtraction can be flipped because they're inverse operations and go in the same step. And same thing with multiplication and division. So this is just an easy way to help us remember the order. So sometimes you might have multiplication and division, but no addition and subtraction. This does not guarantee you are going to have all of these in one problem, but this is just the order you would follow, okay? Because it's called the order of operations. But before that, I need to show you guys a little bit about what exponents are and how we can use those in the order of operations. So, how to do an exponent. You guys might have heard me talk about exponents before, but it's really not that hard. So you might hear the terms squared, cubed, or to the power of. This is just telling me how many times I'm multiplying the number. So anytime you hear squared, just know that it's got a little 2 written next to it, cubed to a little 3, and to the power of, it's whatever the power of. It can be the power of 100, the power of 4 like we're about to do. It's how many times I should see that number. So starting off, if it's squared, you're just multiplying that number twice. Okay, so I should see that number up there twice. That's it. I like to think of it as the exponent is how many times I should see that number. So again, remember the exponent is the little number written up by it. So if I have 5 squared, I should see 5 up here 2 times, and I'm multiplying it. So instead of doing like 5 times 2, which is where we make our mistakes with the exponents, remember you're just multiplying it by that number. So that means I'm actually doing 5 times 5, which we know from our multiplication facts is 25. So we now know that 5 squared, just like it's written over here, is equal to 25. Just like how 5 cubed, which has this little 3 next to it, it's not 53, it's 5 cubed, means I should see 5 up here 3 times, and I'm multiplying it. Well, we know that 5 times 5 is 25. Then I just need to multiply it by 5 again, which, if I use standard algorithm, would show me that it's equal to 125. And now, lastly, we have to the power of. And this is an example with it being to the power of 4. So that means I should see 5 up here 4 times. And again, I'm multiplying it across. 5 times 5, 25. Then I need to multiply it by 5 again, and by 5 again. Well, we remember that 25 times 5 is 125 times 5. And again, if I needed to, I could check it using the standard algorithm. So 125 times 5, 5 times 5, 25. Regroup my 2. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 is 12. Regroup my 1. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 1 is 6. So we know 5 to the 4th power is 625. And a good thing to remember anytime you're dealing with order of operations is make sure you circle or box or just find some way to keep straight what your final answer is. So we'll be working a little more with exponents, but this is just a quick view of how to do it. So remember, my exponent is how many times I should see that number. But let's go ahead and get to the actual order of operations. So I've got some examples without the parentheses, and our step one is always going to be writing PEMDAS until we get it memorized, because this is going to help me keep everything lined up. So now I apply the order of operations. I have no parentheses. Done. We see no exponents. Done. Ooh, we're on multiplication and division. Do I see any multiplication or division? I do. So I'm going to do 6 times 8. We know 6 times 8 is 48. And next, I'm just going to bring down whatever operations I didn't do. So I've got 48 plus 4. And again, doing it sideways can be kind of confusing, so I like to make sure I give myself plenty of space. I can write it off over here to the side. So doing 48 plus 4, 8 plus 4 is 12. Regroup my 1 to get 5. So I know that it is simplified down to 52. I'm going to box my answer. And then we're done with that problem. Cool. So let's move on to the second example we have here. So again, we are going to do PEMDAS. So PEMDAS. And this one's a little tricky. I'm going to show you how. Okay. So parentheses, no parentheses, we're good. Exponents, no exponents, we're good. Multiplication and division. Looking at the problem, I see a multiplication and a division sign. And what I like to do is I'm always going to start on my left and work all the way to the right. I'm working from my left to my right, okay? So we're going to go ahead and do our first operation we see in this case, which is multiplication, okay? So I'm going to do 5 times 1, which we know is 5. Then I'm going to bring down the rest of my problem. So now bringing down my divided and my addition. Okay? If you only do one operation at a time, it helps us keep everything in a line. And see, now we don't even have to worry about the rest of the problem. So now I'm just going to follow the rest of my order of operations, which we're on division now, because we know addition is at the bottom. So I'm going to do 5 divided by 5, which is 1, and then 1 plus 3. And I know that 1 plus 3 is 4. So I know it's simplified as 4. You just got to go down all your steps, and whenever you're left with nothing, you are good to go. Let's go ahead and try another example now. Now this time, we have parentheses. So again, we're going to write PEMDAS to help us remember everything. Here, I see I have parentheses, so because my parentheses are at the top, I have to do those first. So 6 plus 8. 6 plus 8 is 14. And I'm just going to keep bringing down the rest. Divided by 2 minus 1. Keep going. 14 divided by 2 is 7. And then 7 minus 1 simplifies down to 6. All you got to do is keep bringing the operations and the numbers down that you don't do. Make sure you do that, because if you forget any of that, it will throw off your answers. And again, if I am struggling, remember I can write it out to the side. So say I was struggling with 14 divided by 2. Well, I could write that out over here. 2 can't go into 1. 0 times 2 is 0. Subtract. I get 1. Bring down my 4. 2 goes into 14 7 times. And I subtract. If you're struggling with the operations, I really recommend you go back and watch my multiplication division and addition and subtraction videos. It will help you, okay? But again, if you're struggling with not knowing what the operations are, just write them off to the side, but keep your main problem nice and neat and aligned. And that's all you got to do for your order of operations. So now we've got an example with exponents here, and we have parentheses. So pay very close attention as I solve this. So again, I'm going to write PEMDAS over here to the side. And now we can solve. So I need to start with my parentheses. So I'm going to start here, right with my parentheses, and do 9 plus 5. 9 plus 5 is 14. Next, I see I need to bring down my multiplication sign, my 2 squared, and then minus 4. Well, it's telling me now I need to do my exponents. So I'm going to do 14 times, and remember, if we're squaring a number, we're multiplying it by itself. So 2 times 2, which is 4, minus 4. We've done our exponents now. So next we multiply 14 times 4. I might struggle with that, so I need to write it off to the side and do 14 times 4. 4 times 4 is 16. Regroup my 1. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5. So I have 56 now, minus 4. I've done my multiplication. Don't have any division. So next is just addition and subtraction. I do have subtraction. So 56 minus 4. And again, if I'm struggling, I'll write it off to the side. 56 minus 4. 6 minus 4 is 2. 5 minus 0 is 5. So 52 is my simplified answer. I'm going to circle it, box it, whatever I can to remember it. And I've worked through all of the orders of operations. Now, there are also problems where you will see brackets. And I'm going to show you how you will solve problems with brackets really quick. So again, I'm going to write PEMDAS. Now we see we have our brackets inside the parentheses here. So we still need to do whatever's inside the parentheses. But if we have brackets, we're going to actually solve those first since it's in the parentheses. If it's outside, do them after you would the parentheses. But in this case, I'm going to go ahead and do 9 plus, I'm solving 4 minus 2 because it's in brackets, 2. Then I need to remember to bring down my times 3. So that's going to leave us with our parentheses still. So I need to do 9 plus 2, which gives me 11. And bring down my times 3. Cool. Done with parentheses. There are no exponents. Now I just see multiplication and division. So I'm going to do 11 times 3, which we know for our multiplication facts, is 33. And because there's no addition and subtraction, we have simplified. Now, we will be working on order of operations for a while, but some stuff I just want to make sure you remember is use your space. Please use your space. If you go back and see my problem like right here, I make sure I write it off to the side. Keep your work neat. You will notice how I did everything in a line. That helps me keep it in order. Follow PEMDAS. If you get off PEMDAS, your answer will be wrong. Make sure you go step by step, working from the start of the left all the way over to the right, and then make sure your answer is easy to find. And you will notice that with how I circled or boxed my answers. And now you know. I will see you next time for next week's math video. And make sure you're watching all of the content to make sure you're not getting behind. But I will see you next time. Have a good weekend.